Reporting from Churchill Downs, and you can take my word, it is cold and windy here today. But we start off with some good news. It was announced today that ABC Sports has acquired the rights to the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge, the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont for a time period extending well into the 1990s, and that certainly is good news for all of us. The Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge, remember, if anybody wins all three Triple Crown races this year, that horse and owner will be guaranteed a total of $5 million. But even if there is no Triple Crown winner, there is a point system, and under the point system, somebody will get a bonus of $1 million. Here is how it works. If you win any of the Triple Crown races, you get 5 points. If you finish second, you get 3 points. If you finish third, you get 1. The points are added up at the end of the Triple Crown, and assuming that a horse with the highest points has run and finished in all 3 races, he'll get the $1 million bonus. But we're here, as we said, for today's Kentucky Derby. There's a bit of news. Notation, the winner of the Lexington Stakes, doesn't like an off-track. He has been scratched, and off-track is what we have today. The favorite, of course, is still Easy Goer. He's in his barn right now as we move down from the blimp on the barn area on the backstretch at Churchill Downs. A little bit warmer in that stall. That his own body heat will keep him warm. There is Easy Goer. Is he a Triple Crown winner? Well, his jockey has been doing fairly well today. Pat Day has won the last 5 races in a row. One of them, as you can see, in the colors of Ogden Phipps, whose horse he will be riding in the Derby. He's won the last 5 in a row. Is that a record? No. One jockey in 1984 rode 7 winners out of 8 mounts here at Churchill Downs. His name, by the way, was Pat Day. Let's go now to my ABC colleague who joins us for the Kentucky Derby today, high up on the top of the grandstand. Al Michaels. Al?
Thank you, Jim. I almost feel as if we're back at the Winter Olympics with the temperature in the high 40s and the track condition muddy today. However, one of the reasons I think the betting is a little skewed in as much as a lot of people felt Easy Goer would be odds on is the fact that one of 2 races Easy Goer has lost was in the mud on this track. On a day Pat Day described the track as being like peanut butter, but it's a lot better today as Pat attempts not only to win 6 in a row, but to win the entire Pick 6. A lot of people talking about Easy Goer as the super horse. What about a Triple Crown? No one has done it since affirmed in 1978, and as many of you know, no favorite, strangely enough, has won the Kentucky Derby since 1979 when Spectacular Bid, who went off at 3-5, did it. Some of the particulars now for this, the 115th running. The total purse is nearly $750,000, with the winner's share close to $600,000. They'll go 1.25 miles. None of these horses has ever gone that far. The track condition for the first time in 31 years since Tim Tam won in 1958 is muddy. It's 45 degrees and feels colder because the wind is out of the northwest at 15 miles per hour, and we have had intermittent showers throughout the day, and that's the forecast for the remainder of the day. Now the odds. These are not the post positions, but the program and saddlecloth colors on the left. The entry of Shy Tom and Houston, trained by Wayne Lucas. Houston, of course, is the key horse there, 4-1. Awe-inspiring and Easy Goer are now even money. They have just dropped from 6-5 to even money. Clever Trevor, a long shot at 35-1. Big price on Flying Continental at 70-1. And as we continue on, Western Playboy getting some action. Won the Jim Beam and Bluegrass Stakes in April at 8-1. Hawkster a long shot. So is Dancel, Faultless Ensign, Triple Buck. You'll get a big price on those horses. You've got the second choice, number 10, the Charlie Whittingham trained Sunday Silence, who looked so brilliant in the Santa Anita Derby. He's 3-1. The late closing Irish Actor at 35-1. In the field, Notation was scratched, so Wind Splitter and Northern Wolf comprise the field. Bet 1, get them both at 30-1. Now here are the post positions. Clever Trevor breaks from the number 1 hole. Then Flying Continental and down the line Western Playboy, Hawkster. You can see the entry coming out together from 5 and 6 Shy Tom and Houston. And continuing on, Dancel and Faultless Ensign, Triple Buck, Sunday Silence, Irish Actor with Notation scratched. Awe-inspiring moves inside 1-12. Easy Goer, who would have broken from 14, goes to 13. Wind Splitter from 14, and Northern Wolf comes out of the auxiliary gate out of the number 15 hole.
On the left, Sunday Silence, principal owner Arthur Hancock III, second choice of the Kentucky Derby. On the right, the favorite, Easy Goer, his owner Ogden Phipps, and thereby hangs a tale, because 2 of racing's great families are intimately involved in today's race, the Phippses of New York and the Hancocks of Kentucky. Ogden Phipps, the owner of Easy Goer, keeps his mares at the Hancock's Claiborne Farm and is a trusted advisor to the family. But Arthur Hancock, the principal owner of Sunday Silence, broke away from the family farm some years ago, so in a sense, it's Hancock against Hancock today. The field for the 115th Kentucky Derby, number 1, Shy Tom, ridden by Chris Antley. Number 1A, his stablemate Houston, a Maryland bred. Only one Maryland bred Kawhi King has ever won the Derby, ridden by Lafitte Pinkai Jr., the strongest rider perhaps in the world physically. Number 2, Awe-Inspiring, ridden by Craig Perrette, owned by Ogden Mills, better known as Denny Phipps, trained by Shug McGahee, and then his stablemate, number 2B, Easy Goer, owned by the father, Ogden Phipps, ridden by Pat Day, going for his 6th win in a row in this race. He's won 5 races in a row today. Number 3, Clever Trevor, from Oklahoma, trained by Donnie K. Van Hamel, ridden by Don Pettinger. Number 4 is Flying Continental. We mentioned before, Corey Black in his first Kentucky Derby. Only one jockey in the race today has won it, and that is Lafitte Pinkai Jr. Remember, he won on Swale. Number 5, as we move back, the horse coming off a bit of an injury, Western Playboy, owned by Nancy Veneer, trained by her husband, ridden by Randy Romero. We'll move along to number 6. Here he is, Hawkster from the West Coast. Mr. and Mrs. J.S. Meredith Hawkster, trained by Ron McAnally. He trained John Henry, ridden by Marco Castaneda. Number 7 is the Arkansas Derby winner, Danzel, owned by John Franks, trained by Frank Brothers, leading trainer at both Arkansas and Louisiana, ridden by Larry Snyder. Number 8 is the winner of the Garden State Stakes, Faultless Ensign. His owner owns a truck dealership in Pennsylvania. He's trained by Ben Perkins Jr., ridden by Krista Carlo. A look at number 9, Triple Buck, owned by Gary Morano, who's an associate of the trainer, Butch Lenzini. Butch Lenzini trained Aloma's Ruler when he won the Preakness a few years ago. The jockey's important, Jose Santos, the Eclipse Award winner last year. Number 10, second favorite in this race. This is Sunday Silence. Arthur Hancock, Charlie Whittingham, Ernest Gaylord on him, Patrick Valenzuela on his back. Number 11, Irish Actor from Tiffany Farms, trained by Leroy Jolly. He's been in the winner's circle here. Remember the filly, Genuine Risk? Don Howard is the rider. Number 12, Notation's been scratched. Number 13 is Wind Splitter from Maryland. He's had a lot of second places. Finished second in an allowance race only 10 days ago, but was placed first on the disqualification. Number 14, Northern Wolf, Deep River Stable, trained by Hank Allen and ridden by Jojo Ladner.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Irish Actor, trained by Leroy Jolly, who won the Kentucky Derby in 75 with Foolish Pleasure and in 80 with Genuine Risk. Post positions drawn by Lott.
Come on, bring him up closer, boys. Let's go. Come on.
Now, Awe-Inspiring and Easy Goer will be the last 2 horses in the main gate.
All right, turn that 14
Then
horse
their own
on
colt,
there.
Northern Wolf.
Come on with it.
Easy Goer is in, 4 to 5. And the 2 field horses, Wind Splitter and Northern Wolf. This is what thoroughbred racing is all about as we get set for the start of the Derby. They're all in line, and they're off. And Sunday Silence at the start comes right in and bumps Triple Buck. Houston takes the early lead on the outside. Dancel, Clever Trevor along the inside is third. And here comes Northern Wolf, and again a few bumps. And Easy Goer is 5th at this point on the outside in great position, passing the stands for the first time. Houston with Pinkai on the outside in front of neck. On the inside, it's Clever Trevor second by 2.5. Then a field horse, Northern Wolf, the roan, in third. Sunday Silence comes out a bit from the rail in 4th. And Pat Valenzuela looks over his shoulder and sees that it's Pat Day in 5th on the outside with the favorite Easy Goer. Dancel with Snyder is 6th. Flying Continental is 7th. Wind Splitter is 8th. Irish Actor is 9th. Triple Buck on the outside 10th. Awe-Inspiring 11th. Shied Tom is 12th. Western Playboy is 13th. On the outside, Faultless Ensign is 14th. Hawkster at the back of the pack is 15th and last. And about 18 lengths separate the entire field. The first half file in 46 3/5 seconds. And Houston, trained by D. Wayne Lucas, winging it on the front end. Clever Trevor, the Oklahoma bred, at the rail is second. On the outside, Northern Wolf up close third. Then a gap of 2.5, and Sunday Silence is 4th.
Dancel is 5th, and the favorite Easy Goer is 6th on the outside. Awe-inspiring, his stablemate is alongside and charging up, and now alongside Easy Goer. Then comes Triple Buck and Flying Continental. It's still Houston in front by 3/4 of a length. Northern Wolf 2nd. Here comes Sunday Silence on the outside. The entry of Easy Goer and Awe-inspiring next as they straighten away in the stretch. Sunday Silence, but Pat Valenzuela comes over, has a little contact with Northern Wolf. On the inside, Houston is dropping out of it. Dancel is still tough. On the inside, then comes Easy Goer and Awe-inspiring, but with a 16th of a mile to go. And here comes Sunday Silence through the stretch, coming to the finish of the Derby. Sunday Silence wins this Derby by 2 lengths. It's a photograph between Easy Goer and on the outside, Awe-inspiring. So it's Sunday Silence, Easy Goer, and Awe-inspiring. 1, 2, 3. Sunday Silence trained by Charlie Whittingham. He said he would win the Derby, and it was big words from Charlie when he says he likes a horse. They've won it. Pat Valenzuela, Sunday Silence, unofficial, the winner of the Kentucky Derby.
And Arthur Hancock III has won his 2nd Kentucky Derby. He won it with Gato del Sol. And he's done it again with a horse that was near death on 2 occasions. Pat, can you hear me? This is Jim McKay.
He's talking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any problems in the race?
Excuse me? Any problems in the race? He was a little shit. He was shying away from the crowd a little bit in the stretch.
He was all over the place there coming down the stretch, wasn't he?
He was shying away from the noise from the crowd.
The noise of the crowd. Thanks very much, Pat. Congratulations to you. Pat Valenzuela, all the way back. A year ago, he was off the racetrack. And there is Easy Goer, the beaten favorite. He will not win the Triple Crown. They said the best in Secretariat. There's Charlie Whittingham. The wisdom of years and years on the racetrack under that hat.
Charlie said when they ran the Kentucky Derby, we'd find out where Molly hid the peaches with Easy Goer. Sunday Silence went and found the peaches and came back with roses.
Well, on that piece earlier, you know, he said to you, you have a lot of fun when you're young. You have more fun because there's more to have fun with. I'll tell you, I doubt he's ever had any more fun than this. And there's Easy Goer again.
We have to wonder if the racetrack took its toll on Easy Goer. We didn't think it would, but it looks as though he may not have had the best hold of it. He had some problems through the stretch. He had some problems in the beginning. He was bumped and bothered a bit in the run to the first turn. But no denying Sunday Silence.
Let's have a look at the start now. Let's go back. First, Houston. Houston, number 1A.
Houston, of course, we expected to go for the lead. And
second
here
from
he
the
goes.
left. Yeah.
Lafitte Pencaille in the orange hat there. Houston in the white bridle, and he rides him out quickly to the lead. Along the rail there, you see Clever Trevor, hard-knocking little horse. He shows speed, and he's going to go up and try to stalk Houston. And there they go, headed for the first turn. Houston, as expected, on the lead.
Now let's look at Easy Goer's start, number 2B.
And Sunday Silence in the middle there in the yellow. Oh, yeah, he definitely had a good bump there. Easy Goer gets a clean start. Sunday Silence, he really had kind of a rough trip himself for a horse who came away a winner. Now watch on the outside now. Watch on the outside. Northern Wolf, as he cuts across, he pinches off Easy Goer. Pretty good right here. Oh, this is, look. Sunday Silence got a little of the horse to that too there.
Real rodeo.
It always is when you have this many horses, Jim, and when there's some speed horses on the outside trying to get to that first turn. Now here they are. Houston has been setting some reasonably comfortable fractions, and Sunday Silence is making his move. But right here, Easy Goer, see him back there in the red hat. He's a little bit crowded, but he's not going like you'd think a winner would, a heavy even money favorite. They turn for home. Houston's been taken the measure of, and here comes Sunday Silence. But then he begins his zigzag through the stretch. As Pat Valenzuela said, he was ducking from this and ducking from that, but
apparently the crowd bothered him on the start when they had that great roar, and then Pat said they bothered him in the stretch.
Well, he's his first start of his life. He lost because he was a little green. In a few other races, he's had a few problems. He's still a pretty lightly raced colt with a lot of future, but certainly a colt, as Charlie said, he's the best he's had, and he proved it today.
Wonder how fast he'll run if he runs straight.
He ran a mile and 3/8 today, I think.
Incidentally, the the uncle of Pat Valenzuela, Ismael, known as Milo Valenzuela, won the Kentucky Derby, and now the family has another one.
Great family of riders there. Not a big colt here, this one. Big-hearted, though.
Isolated the ride of Easy Goer, who, along with his entry mate, Awe-Inspiring, finished second and third, and thus an oddity in terms of the payoffs here. You have Sunday Silence, who went off at 3-to-1, paying $820, $3 and $360, and the show pool is skewed because you've got the entry finishing second and third. Thus, they pay $260 to place and $340 to show, and the exacta, Sunday Silence to the entry, pays $15.20. Once again, we're going to take a look at Easy Goer, Dave, coming out of the gate, and then we'll, in a moment, take a look at Sunday Silence.
He had no trouble coming out of the gate, and to the right of your screen is Awe-Inspiring, and then that's Irish Actor. Wind Splitter on the far left of your screen, and really there was no trouble at all getting out of the gate. This horse does not have a history of getting to the front early, so no one expected him.
On the other side of the coin, we're going to take a look at Sunday Silence as he comes out of the gate out of post position number 10 in just a moment.
Now there's Northern Wolf, who sort of causes a traffic jam behind. You can see in the yellow cap, that's Sunday Silence, the eventual winner. And Dancel, Larry Snyder, looks over his right shoulder and says, "Hey, Jojo Ladner, what you doing?" Now that, the horse with the white dot right in the center of his head, that is Easy Goer. Irish Actor to the inside.
All right, now let's take a look at Sunday Silence. You know, the oddity here is that a lot of people feel Pat Valenzuela is as good a gate rider as any jockey in the country today, maybe ever, and it's a start he'll always remember.
And I'm sure the rider on Triple Buck will remember, and also Chris DiCarlo, who was aboard the gray horse, who got bumped. Here comes Northern Wolf again up on the outside, and that exchange between Larry Snyder and Jojo Ladner, but Houston is free and clear by this time.
So it was bumper cars as they came past the grandstand the first time and into the first turn.
But give Pat Valenzuela credit, because he was able to get position here on the first turn, which is in a 16-horse field so important, and get around. He's looking over his right shoulder there. He saved ground and was able to negotiate that first turn very well.
I would have to think at this point, too, Whittingham had to be very, very happy with the position of Sunday Silence. Free of traffic, sitting fourth.
And as you see then, it's Easy Goer in second and Dancel toward the inside, hanging tough in here, third on your screen. But Sunday Silence, who is in front now, in the middle of the pack as they move on to the backstretch. Fourth, actually. On the inside, Dancel is showing a lot of courage. And Pat Day, and you're going to see Pat Day go to the whip on the far turn. That has never, ever happened before. He's never asked his horse to run, much less with a whip, before the stretch. And he will go to asking this horse to run on the far turn.
And meanwhile, you could see Valenzuela letting it out a notch here as he begins to move to the outside.
And the second cherry cap in your picture is Awe-Inspiring, that professional racehorse who won the Flamingo. But here's Houston with Pincott trying to nurse home the horse on front end.
And Wayne Lucas pretty much saying so all week before the race. His only chance was to go wire to wire. He went wire to about the quarter pole, and that was all for Houston. Here comes Sunday Silence.
And big race for Northern Wolf as Pat Valenzuela looked over his left shoulder and saw that Sunday Silence was coming in. Then he looks over his right shoulder and sees that the entry is coming on.
And down the stretch, Sunday Silence. I remember hearing Charlie Whittingham saying back in January, "I have a very, very good horse." And when Whittingham says that, it's equivalent to most other trainers saying, "I have a fabulous horse," because he is the master of understatement.
But the big picture on this race is fast early pace, and in the final quarter mile, nobody was going. The final quarter in 27-1.
So Sunday Silence, who wins the Santa Anita Derby with the thermometer close to 100 degrees, comes back 4 weeks later and wins the Kentucky Derby with a temperature of about 45.
And now the Santa Anita Derby has produced the last two winners of the Kentucky Derby, Winning Colors last year and now Sunday Silence.
And now the final order of finish, Sunday Silence, again Easy Goer and Awe-Inspiring running as an entry, getting second and third money. Dancel coming on to finish 4th. Hawkster finishes 5th. Northern Wolf right there with Houston in the early going up until they came into the stretch was 6th. Irish Actor Never Fired finished 7th. Houston fading to 8th. Triple Buck, who caused the 7 to 8 minute delay in the start of the race, with 9th. Shy Tom, Houston's entry mate, was 10th. Wind Splitter wound up finishing 11th. In the field, Flying Continental was never a factor. Clever Trevor, who broke from the inside, not a factor, finishing 13th. Faultless Ensign and Western Playboy, who had the 2 victories in April, finishes dead last. So the story of the 115th Kentucky Derby. Once again, let's go to Jim McKay.
All right, Al, thanks very much. Here we are in the winner's stand with Tom Meeker, the president of Churchill Downs. Tom, we've had the last 4 winners of the Derby come from the West Coast. Ferdinand, Ali Sheba winning colors, and now Sunday Silence.
Well, I wish some of the weather had come in from the West Coast. This has been a real unusual day, and it had a great race. And I was very, very pleased with the race. It was an unusual situation, what with the loss of the shoe. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Wallace Wilkinson.
Jim, how are you? We're all winners in Kentucky today. What a beautiful race. I tell you, it was just incredible. It's my pleasure today to congratulate Arthur Hancock, Charlie Whittingham, and of course Pat Velasquez. And it's just a great honor today to give this trophy to a great horse, Sunday Silence. What a terrific race. What a thrill.
Okay, I'm sure George Velasquez would like to have that too, but it's Pat Valenzuela we got here today. Okay, now the hardware.
Excuse me, that's right, Jim. Thank
the
you
hardware
so
for
much.
Arthur Hancock and Charlie and Dr. Gaylord.
Yeah. So, and how do we get right around here?
All right.
Isn't that a terrific throw?
Arthur, it's the second one for you. There's a lot of background to this. Can you say what's in your mind?
I'd just like to thank the good Lord and Charlie and Churchill and all the men at the Stone Farm for raising this horse in the good Kentucky bluegrass. And it's one of the greatest days of my life.
Charlie, you've broken your own record as oldest trainer to win the Derby at age 76. Thinking back to those days when you and Horatio Luro, who was honored here this week, were scratching it out on the West Coast and hopping freighters to go to South America to buy them. You've come a long way, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. It's been fun all the way, too. I hope we can keep it up another 10 years.
Now we're on to Pimlico, I take it, and to the Belmont.